Imagine a situation where there is a boy living in a tier 3 village in a tier 3 city, dreaming so big, huge examinations like JEE and NEET. Suddenly, he's getting some buzzing notifications on his phone every 5 minutes. Instagram is saying your friend has posted a new travel story. WhatsApp is saying 100 messages. And YouTube is recommending the most watched video for him. With a span of 30 minutes, his journey from loss of motion traveled to a random video where a dog was riding a scooter, which is totally irrelevant. After 3 hours of relentless scrolling, he later understood that he lost one of the most precious part in his life. That's his time. We people, we used to get a lot of advices from our seniors, from our elders, right? Time is precious, time is gold. So all these things come around time. Do you know why? Why time is important? Because time is the only resource that every person who is living in this earth have equally. Every person, we have 24 hours of time. So the problem here is this silent struggle of just one person is not just a small problem that is happening in a mere tier 3 city. It is the struggle of millions of people, especially millions of Indian youth today. And this is a serious concern. And I'm here to share about my experience that I felt with this problem. We live in a technological revolution, the digital tsunami, and 80 million Indian youth. We are surfing the internet like a pros, right? But I have a question in mind. Are we really surfing or drowning? Most of us are drowning. We don't realize what exactly is happening. You know what? Just because of a minute crunch of dopamine that hits into our mind, we just lost something that is more precious to us. It lacks us a lot of aspects. You cannot truly discover your potential. According to a study, the average screen time of an Indian youth is 7 to 8 hours. And this time is more than the time that we spend in our classrooms. What are we even consuming? You know what? People would say Instagram is free, all the social media platforms are free. But in fact, they cost us something. Everything in this world has a hidden agenda, everything has a hidden cost. What these cost us? That is mental cost. We have three things. When you scroll relentlessly, you drain a lot of energy that you have. And when you see people's photos online, we usually post the most good pictures of us. The best pictures we used to post. We compare our lives with those lives of people who are there, and it creates a sense of self-doubt inside us. And when you also, get, influenced through the constant buzzing sounds of these notifications, your attention span would probably reduce in a large scale. Years back, there was a study where the attention span was an average 18-year-old guy was 40 minutes. But same study, they did it recently and they found out it dropped drastically, which is like 8 to 9 minutes, which is like 30% massive strike. So if you still feel, even after this buzzing notifications and even after these much sort of distractions, we could literally, get use of it, you can be productive. That's not true. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a real-time example. Imagine you're meditating in the middle of a traffic jam in the roads of Mumbai. It sounds hard, right? Same way it does. So how do we solve this problem? So there comes digital minimalism. I'm not going to tell you that, become a monk or throw your phone in the ocean. Do not use mobile phones. Mobile phones became a sort of organ nowadays for us. It became an essential factor where it protects our life as well. So digital minimalism is not about becoming a monk or throwing your phone in the ocean. It's about creating a sense of proper use of technology. There was a person whom I read online. He said he is Carl Newton, and he's the first person who coined this term, digital minimalism. According to him, digital minimalism is something that not making or not letting the technology use you, rather you using it wisely. If you think it twice, it has a deeper inner voice. Imagine our digital minimalism. I'll give you in a simple terms. Digital minimalism is a complete pizza, and you take just the slice that you want. We have a lot of clusters, we have a lot of data. The data that we have is abundant, but are we utilizing the right data that we are? In order to understand this process of becoming wise, not just mentally but technically, you have to understand the core concept. We have three pillars in digital minimalism. The first one I would like to share you is clutters are costly. Imagine getting thousands of notifications. You know, our mind is like a lake, and each notification is a stone. If you throw a stone into the lake, it creates a sense of ripple effect. What if hundreds of stones are being thrown into the lake? You can't even see your own reflection, right? Same way, when your phone is a jungle of 100 applications and 1,000 notifications, your mind just scatters away. The retention span drastically, reduces at a very high rate. The second important aspect, the second important pillar about digital minimalism is productivity is overrated. We install 10 applications to track our screen time, to restrict us. We use it actually to stop procrastination, but in reality we end up procrastinating that the app is not customizable. And the third pillar that I would like to share you is joy of avoiding. We youngsters, we feel that we have to have a clear habit or in-depth knowledge about everything that is happening around. We want us to be updated about all the aspects, all the current affairs that is happening. But there is a myth. We youngsters have this biggest fear, that is FOMO, fear of missing out. But I would like to give a strong solid change that this is a myth. You don't have to consume over knowledge that is not appropriate. You can have a break, you can just consume what you want. Digital minimalism it teaches you a practice of how you utilize it in a very good way that helps you, not reduces your potential. A lot of people, specifically successful people, if you take, everybody would have one turning point in their life where they felt like their potential is diminished. And that is the turning point in their life. The day when they realize that this is not their own potential and their potential is maximum, there they create a change. They start working on themselves. So when you start focusing on digital minimalism, when you practice digital minimalism, you utilize your maximum potential. So how do we actually solve this problem? So how are we gonna make ourselves digitally minimal and become the best version of ourselves? It's not that complex AI algorithms to break. It's just simple process where you can follow. Reduce the screen time. Talk to people rather than talking online. Go jogging without your headphones and talk to real people. Trust me, your grandparents will have more stories than OTT platforms. Your mom sings better than any sort of musicians do. Your friends give better advice than any sort of AI model gives. In my life, when I was studying, I was a JEE aspirant. I thought of cracking JEE, but I ended up in vain. It didn't go well. My screen time was around 70 to 80 hours a week, which was so massive. I consumed a lot of content. I literally felt that it is not just only my problem. It is a problem a lot of youngsters today. Even my friends have it. But the thing is, people who understood the reality of solving it are becoming masters of technology. And I literally felt that the day when I started practicing digital minimalism, I began experiencing different sense of notion. I would like to share you a real-time insight that I got from a book that I've read. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It was an amazing book that was authored by Joseph Murphy. Joseph Murphy was a famous philosopher. He's a man of magic where he cured diseases just because of human potential. Without any medicine, without any treatment, he cured sarcoma for himself, and he also experimented it for multiple people and he succeeded it. And even today, his practice of curing is a medical miracle. It might sound something mythical, but it is true. There is something called as subconscious mind. Biologically, we have two divisions of our mind, which is right brain and left brain. But if you take in a psychological aspect, we have two different brains. That is your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is something we do the activities that we do with our conscious presence, but some subconscious mind is somewhere in the, it's a part of your brain where you do activities which are feeded for you a long period of time. For example, brushing, driving a car. You don't practice each day, but when you eventually make it as a habit, and that gets used to it. You don't need to, remember the way that you used to do it. So, what Joseph Murphy states is that when you manifest something in a very strong way, your mind automatically tunes according to it. So, in this manifestation process, technology plays a vital role. When you consume a lot of content, there is an artificial amount of dopamine that hits into your brain. It's the exact amount of dopamine that comes into our brain when you smoke or when you do something that is addictive. It creates a sense of addiction. It doesn't affect your lungs, but it affects your mind. This is a serious problem. So digital minimalism is the only practice that we can overcome this. And you know what? Even if you take the crowd that is sitting over here, everybody would have encountered this at least one time in their life. We end up, we take our phones just to check the time, and we end up scrolling some Insta feed or scrolling some reels. And this happens too. And this is a rising concern. So what I would like to state is, digital minimalism helps us bring our complete potential. It helps us grow to a maximum level. It helped me win. It will also help you too.